My name is Jake Harding. I study game design at Sheffield Hallam University.
How long have you been dealing with mental health?
Give or take about 15 years.
So when you found out, how did you know? Was it your parents or?
It was my parents and I think my teachers at the time. I was only young, 5 or 6. And the teachers kind of mentioned to my parents, and my parents kind of had a feeling, so they went and got me tested, and I was diagnosed initially with Asperger's syndrome and obsessive compulsive disorder. And then when I was about 9, I got diagnosed as depressed and as being dyspraxic.
Would you say then, from moving from home into uni, your mental health spiked a bit, or?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It did spike. I went from being in one of the best years of my life at college, just being happy and just content, with being young, but I was ready to move on, So when I got to uni, it was a big jump. It was exciting, really exciting, and I actually had a great time. And there was a period where I was probably my most confident. But after that kind of weared off and the realisation sank in that I'm alone, and that my parents aren't here, my friends aren't here, and I am alone. Everyone I know, everyone I know because I've spoken to them. Like, I don't know anyone through anyone. I don't have friends of friends. It's just like me in the city alone. That was a pretty scary realisation, paired with the work, which was really difficult and unusual, and I don't think I quite understood what the course was. Originally I was set to do film, which I was fantastic at college, and then I kind of just changed my mind last minute to do game design, and I think it was difficult. The work wasn't what I expected. It was a lot to handle, so that caused my mental health to really spike. Big time.
Did you have episodes, would you say?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. In the first semester, towards the end of the first semester, when the work got heavy towards Christmas, and I definitely had episodes of just, I kind of started having panic attacks a lot, around 2-3 in the morning, because I'm normally awake at that time, and that's the time where your thoughts get a bit more vulnerable as you get a bit more tired and you start to think about it, and it kind of went into a spiral of just getting into these states at 3 in the morning, and I'd have to ring my dad up and he'd have to get out of bed and talk to me until I calmed down. I remember once I was at another flat, and I'd come back to my room and I just felt like I was falling apart, like I was dying inside, like I couldn't quite hack it. So I remember, I just sat on the floor, curled up into a ball, phoned my dad, and he talked me out of it in the end. But it's really scary when those kind of things happen, because your breathing goes and your head goes, and all of a sudden you feel like the weakest person in the world, which sucks. But I got around it. One thing I used to do to kind of handle panic attacks and feeling depressed is, at those times in the morning, instead of curling up in a ball and succumbing to this feeling of just worthlessness, I'd listen to music. I'd lose myself in my music in the dark for a bit, just whatever's on, just listen to it and just think about everything. I don't want to get too existential, but it really helps me personally. Thinking about the grand scheme of things really helps me understand.
With someone with Asperger's like yourself and so forth, what would you say to them going into uni for their first year?
I'd say go. That's the first step, is to get there, move in, and have your parents leave. Go. And when you're there, don't overshare too much. People find that uncomfortable. But it sounds cheesy. It is cheesy. You're going to hear it, you've heard it before, I've heard it before. You know, being yourself is important, you know, but I think the catch there is that at this age, you know, in this society, a lot of people don't realise, you know, who yourself is. So instead of saying, yeah, be yourself, overstep your, you know, comfort zone, go out your comfort zone, do different things, find things that you're uncomfortable with, figure out who yourself is, figure out who you are, and then when you found who you are, be you.